A very warm welcome to each and everyone present today. My name is Vineet and I'll be the instructor once again. So in today's class we'll be going through few input-output streams, that is how to take input and output using the Java classes, as well as we'll look into the dynamic allocation, that is how to store data dynamically, right, using Arraylist, hash maps, hash tables, right? So first of all we'll start with input and output. Moving on, input is the data of what we give to the program, right? You enter the input using your keyboard. The program asks you to enter a particular value or data. You just use your keyboard to enter it, and that is called input. That value is actually used in that program itself. Output is the data what we receive from the program in the form of result that is displayed on the console window in case of Java programs. What is stream? Stream represents flow of data, that is sequence of data. Okay, so entire sequence of the data is actually considered to be a stream. Now to give input we use input stream, and to give output we use the output stream. Nikhil says, hello Vineet, I hope I'm not too late. No, you're not late. This is the first page of the slide today. Okay, moving on. How input is read from keyboard. So this is a small diagram to explain how the input is taken from the keyboard. This is a system.in class. Okay, it represents keyboard. To read data from keyboard, it should be connected to InputStreamReader. Now using the InputStreamReader, what happens, it reads data from keyboard and sends that data to the Bufferedreader. It reads data from the InputStreamReader and stores data in buffer. It got methods so that data could easily be accessed, right? So this is the diagram. These are actually linked like this: system.in, InputStreamReader, and Bufferedreader. Whenever you create an object of Bufferedreader, you write Bufferedreader. Within that you pass the InputStreamReader, and within that you pass the system.in. Okay, Nikhil says, in the last slide we have just understood what is input. That is what the user gives to the program. What is output that we receive on the console window. What is stream? Stream is the flow of data. And for taking input we use input stream, and for receiving output we use output stream. So this is the first slide. I hope you are clear with it, Nikhil. And every one of you, please write down on the chat window, are you guys clear with it till now? This diagram as well. You'll understand when we use Bufferedreader, what is this linking connected to or send data to shows, what it depicts. Okay. Okay, everyone says yes, that's good. Moving on, reading input from console. Input can be given either from a file or keyboard. Input can be read from console in three ways. The first one would be the Bufferedreader. The second one is string to Tokenizer, and third one is the scanner. Okay, so these are the three classes using which you can take the input from the console. So we'll go through them, each one of them one by one, and first of all we'll understand what is a Bufferedreader, how to use it. So I guess guys you're quite excited to understand how to take input from the keyboard, right, from the user, because since the starting of the class, that is Java classes, this was the first question that I received from you guys, that is how to take the input from the user, and I said that we'll be going through it in the later classes, right? So first of all, you use the class that is Bufferedreader. You create an object of that equals to new operator Bufferedreader. Within that, as it is connected, you write InputStreamReader. Okay, you connect it to InputStreamReader, and within that you pass system.in. That will be the keyboard. Whatever you press, it comes to InputStreamReader like that. Okay. Now, if you let's say you want to take an integer value, so write int age equals to Bufferedreader.read. Read is a method that is present with Bufferedreader. Using that you can take integer value from the user. String name Bufferedreader.readLine. Readline will fetch a string from the user. Okay, so this is a method. Within that method you can use these functions which are present with Bufferedreader. Okay. So let's go to Eclipse without wasting any time, and we'll see the code for Bufferedreader. Okay. So first of all, I come to input Bufferedreader code. So this is the code right here. That is Bufferedreader. Bufferedreader, you create the object new Bufferedreader. Within that you pass an input stream object, and in that you pass system.in as an attribute, right? So you have created an object of Bufferedreader using which you can take the input from the user. Now I print a statement that is enter your name first of all. Second is I create a string variable. In that I'm storing Bufferedreader.readLine. That means whatever string that has been entered by the user is getting saved to this name variable. Similarly, I ask for the age, and age has been saved like this, that is integer.parseInt Bufferedreader.readLine. Now can any one of you tell me why I'm using this right this? Why I'm writing integer.parseInt? All of you, please write down on the chat window, why do you think I'm using integer.parseInt? Nikhil says typecasting. Okay, so what is the necessity of typecasting over here? Ashraf says convert string to integer. Exactly correct. What is happening? This Bufferedreader.readLine actually gives the output as the return type is a string value, but you want to save it in integer. So what you are doing, you are passing that string value to integer value. Mayank says to convert the string to integer. Yogesh says string to int convert. Ahmed says by default system takes everything in the form of string. Okay, that's good. What if it is not possible? I didn't get your question, Nikhil. I think you're trying to say that if it is not possible to parse a string into an integer, right? Okay. So for that, what you can do, let's define one more age, one variable, that is int age1 equals to Bufferedreader dot read. So this is one more option for you. Read will give you an output as an integer type. So it is quite easy to use. I wanted to show you that you can also pass the string and save it in the age variable. Okay. So I hope it is clear now. Now when I run this code, enter your name. So first of all, I'll give my name, that is Vineet. Now enter your age. My age is 90. I'm Vineet, 90 years old. Okay. So I hope you have understood how to use this Bufferedreader right here. Please write down on the chat window, each and every one of you. Pranav says, yes Pranav, right. You're right. Mayank sends me a smiley. Nikhil says yes. What about the rest of you? Sai says yes. Yogesh says yes. So you'll understand it a better form when you start using it by yourself. Okay, experiment with it. Try to pass different kinds of values, try to take inputs differently, and you'll get your doubts cleared. Okay, so I come back to my presentation once again, and I come to string tokenizer. That is the second class using which I can take the inputs. It can be used to accept multiple inputs from console in a single line, whereas Bufferedreader accepts only one input from a line. Okay, so you can only pass one name if it is passed, if you want to pass it. So in one line you can pass only one name using the Bufferedreader. But if you are using a string tokenizer, you can pass many inputs, but just by using a delimiter. What will be a delimiter? It could be a comma sign, right? So it uses a delimiter, space or comma to make the input into tokens. Now you write Bufferedreader, you create a Bufferedreader so that you can take the entire line as an input. After that you define a tokenizer object and you pass the entire string that was taken by the Bufferedreader. You pass comma. Now wherever it finds a comma, it understands that this is the first token, and after the comma there is a second token present, right? So this way you can take multiple inputs. So similarly, name and age is being taken. So I go to Eclipse and I open the program for the tokenizer itself. So I have it here. Now Bufferedreader, you create the object, quite simple to understand. Enter your name and age separated by comma. So comma will be the delimiter, and whenever this tokenizer finds a comma, it understands that before the comma it is one value, after the comma sign there is the second value. So once you create the object, you pass this string that you have saved using the Bufferedreader here, and you pass the comma that will be acting as a delimiter. Now you create a string object name equals to tokenizer dot next token. Okay, so it will save the name first one into the name. Again, you declare a variable age because you know that this after the comma there will be age present. So you write integer dot parse and tokenizer dot next token. Now why I'm passing it to integer right now? It is because it will return me an object type. Okay, so I have to convert it. Sorry, this will be also a string type that I'll be parsing it back and saving in the age variable. When I run this code, enter your name, age separated by comma. So write Vineet, comma 24, and I press enter. So I'm Vineet, 24 years old. Okay, I run this code once again. I write Vineet. This time I give my complete name with a space, Chaturvedi, comma 24, anything. Okay, now tell me, if I just enter it, will I receive an exception or it is fine? Will it take the output and print the entire result, or it will give me an exception? All of you please write down on the chat window. Last time I only passed Vineet. Ashraf says it's fine. Nikhil says no error. Mayank says it's right. Absolutely it is right. Now I run this code once again. Let's try one more thing. The same Vineet, Chaturvedi, comma, I give a space, now 24. Now will it give me an error? Please write down on the chat window, everyone. Nikhil says no. Mayank says no. Ashraf says no. What about the rest of you? Yogesh says no. Ahmed, what do you think? Mahvesh? Pranav says I don't think so. Okay then. So I'll just press enter, and this time I receive an exception. Why? Exception because you are passing the delimiter as comma, but in the console when what you did after the comma you pass a space, so it is not taking that space. Okay, it does not take it like that, hence it is giving an exception. Now if I put a space here, I save the file, I run this code once again. This time again I pass Vineet, comma, space 24. Now what happens this time? Will it give me an error? Everyone please write down on the chat window. Mayank says no error. Ashraf says no error. Okay, everyone says no error. Exactly correct. This time it won't give me any error. One more try, okay? So that is how your doubts will get cleared. What if now? Will it give me an error? Pratik says no error. What about the rest of you? Mayank says exception. Okay, this time Mayank, I won't go with you. It won't give me any error because now it can accept spaces as well. Okay, one final try. I just got an idea again. What happens now if I press enter? Pratik says error. What about the others? Ashraf says no error. All of you please write down on the chat window. Mayank says no error. Ahmed says no. Sai says Chaturvedi 24. Okay, he says Vineet won't be printed. It will be an exception. Why? Because in the delimiter you passed a space. Okay, so whenever it finds a space now, it is also thinking a delimiter, but the delimiter is still not complete. Right? So it gives you an exception. So these are a few properties that are present. Nikhil, you'll have to try it on yourself, putting the multiple delimiters. Absolutely, it is a string. I placed it. Now running part will be your duty. Okay, consider it as an assignment and you'll get the answer. And theoretically, yes, you can use it. Okay, I hope it answers your query. Nikhil. Okay, So string tokenizer is done. Now we come to scanner. It accepts multiple inputs from file or keyboard and divides into tokens. It has methods to different types of input: integer, float, string, long, double, byte, where tokenizer does not have. Okay, so scanner is the best way by using which you can take the input from the user. It has got different methods for different kinds of data types, right? As well as you received exceptions in case of tokenizer, there are no such exceptions in case of scanner. Okay, you won't be receiving any exceptions. That is the runtime exceptions. Okay, because in the compile time the code looks good in case of tokenizer, but when you run it, you receive an error, but not in case of scanner. So I'll show you the code for scanner now. It is the best way if you have to take an input. So I come here, quite simple. First, printing a string, that is enter your name and age. String name is equal to scanner.next and age equal to scanner.nextInt. Okay, next will take a string value and next int will take an integer value. Now before that you have to define a scanner, that is scanner equals to new scanner. You have to pass system.in. Okay, so that you're mentioning the input is being taken from the keyboard. When I run this code, control F11, enter your name and age. So write Vineet, enter 90. I am Vineet, 90 years old. Okay, so this looks quite easy than the other ways of taking input from the user. All of you, what do you think? Is that clear to you? Please write down on the chat window. Sai says yes, simple. Mayank says yes. Sai says unclear. Yogesh says yes. Nikhil, Pranav says yes. Ashraf says yes, it's clear. And Kondarpa says yes. Ahmed says yes. Prateek says best way of input. Exactly correct, Prateek. Prateek, sorry, not Prateek. Moving on, writing outputs to console. Now we have learned how to take inputs, how to write the output on console, and we have been using from the day one. That is system.out.print. What? This is print. Is this correct? All of you, tell me. We haven't been using this print. We are using println always. System.out.println. What is the difference between them? That is system.out.print and println. Sai says, yeah, prints on the same line. Ahmed says right. Mayank says yes. Ashraf says new line. Nikhil says it prints without new line. Pranav says println prints next line. Prateek says println means print and goes to the next line. Exactly, Prateek, that's the exact definition. Println means it first prints the statement and then goes to the next line. Okay, it is not so that it will first go to the next line and then print. Okay, Kundarpa says it gives a new line. Exactly. Now using the right, you can pass the ASCII values. Okay, when you pass this, so actually the ASCII value is being passed to the right. It takes the integer values and I will be printed using right. So let's see the demonstration as well. And it is present in output main. Okay, so system hello println. So what I'll do, I'll just change it to print. I'll just copy the entire sentence, control C and VV, 3 statements. Okay, Ahmed says I agree with Prateek. Sorry, Prateek says sir, here two objects of system class out and println, please explain it. Are you talking about println and this right? Please write down on the chat window, Prateek, if yes. Okay, till that time I'll just show you. I run this code, I receive hello, hello, hello. Why is it so? And then A. Okay, because I'm not using println. As soon as I use println in the last one, what will happen? A will come in the next line. That is hello, 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 and finally A comes to the next line. Okay, Prateek says system.out.println, out and println are objects now. No, println is a method in which you pass the input and that returns an output on the console window. Okay, println, these are all different methods that takes some input and gives you output. Ahmed says why A comes to the next line. It is because I'm using a function that is println. Whenever you call this function println, what happens? It first prints the line hello, and after that it takes the control to the next line. So whenever you print A, what is happening? A is getting printed on the next line like this, hello, hello, and then after that moves to the next line and it prints A. So Ahmed, it is clear to you? Please write down on the chat window. Every one of you, are you clear with it? Ahmed says yes, clear. Okay, I receive all the yeses, that's good. Okay then, these were quite simple concepts, the quite basic ones. Moving on. Now this is a small flow chart for you. Okay, you can go through it as soon as I upload the presentation or whenever you receive the video. Okay, so this is just the flow diagram, input output streams. It can be divided into byte oriented streams and Unicode character, that is the character or byte. When you are dealing with byte, you can use input stream. In that you have got classes like file input stream, data input stream, and for the output stream you have got file output stream and data output stream. When you come to in case of characters, what happens? You've got reader and writer, input stream reader to read the data, output stream reader to print the characters on the output string, that is console. Okay, so you can go through the diagram and search, understand it. Okay, this is just the theoretical part. Moving on, we come to array list. Now some action, will be seeing some good practical examples right here in array list. Now can any one of you tell me what is an array list? And if you guys remember, I posted a question on Facebook community, right, related to array list, and only Ashraf gave me the correct answer and rest of you were giving the wrong explanation for the answer. So tell me guys, what is an array list? Please write down on the chat window. Ahmed says never studied array list. Don't worry, I'll be telling you what is an array list today itself. After that you won't say this statement again. Yogesh says no idea. Pranav says collection of different kind of objects and data. Ahmed says thanks. Okay, different kind of objects and data. Not the exact point. I'm not getting the exact point. What about you, Mayank, and the rest of you? Prateek says list contains array of objects. Okay. Give me the word, the exact word that is actually related with array list. What is the significance of array list? Why don't we use array? Why are we using array list? Can anyone give me the answer to this question? All of you let me know. Nobody is willing to answer it. Okay then, let's move on. The array list is a class. Array list class is a concrete implementation of the list interface. Ashraf says dynamic size allocation, exactly correct. Kandapa says sequence of data. Pranav says elements. The word is dynamic. Dynamic size allocation. That is not present in array. If you do not require the dynamic size allocation, there is no need for dynamic allocation, then it is always said that instead of using an array list, you should always use an array. Okay, so the array list class is a concrete implementation of the list interface, allows duplicate values within it. Okay, a list can grow or shrink dynamically. That is the main advantage, that is the significance of an array list. That is, it can grow and shrink dynamically. On the other hand, array is fixed once it is created. That was the demerit of an array. Now, if your application does not require insertion or deletion of elements, the most efficient data structure is array, as I said before, right? So I hope Ahmed and each and every one of you now are clear what is an array list and what is the significance of an array list. So this is a small diagram that depicts an array list. So you've got array list that is present in util Java, size 5. The size of the array list is 5 right now because 5 elements have been inserted like Ravi, Rajiv, Megha, Sunny and Atif. Okay, So it will come like this. Index always starts from 0, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. Okay. Now, has any one of you seen the source code for an array list, the actual implementation of an array list? Please write down on the chat window. And on this note, I'll also ask you a question regarding array list. Ahmed says no. What about the rest of you? Sai says no. Yogesh says no. Ashraf says yes. Pranav says yes. Mayank says yes. Yes and no. Okay, Ashraf and Pranav, can you tell me where I can find in my system the code for an array list? Can you tell me? Can we start index from 1 instead of 0? No, Kundarpa, it is dynamically given that, and it will be starting from 0 itself. Ashraf says java.util ArrayList package. Okay, you are quite specific, but I'd like to show you. Maybe I've forgotten, but still, let's try. Go to C drive in your systems as well. Go to users, sorry, not users, go to program files. In that, go to Java folder. In the Java folder, go to JDK. Now in the JDK you can find this rar file, that is src file, that is source. Okay, just open it up. In that you'll find Java, you'll find util, and within that you can find ArrayList, right? You can find ArrayList.java. So this is the code. So everyone, can you now find where is the code for ArrayList? When you open it up, you'll find it like this. So just try to paste it somewhere or do something and try to find out how it is actually implemented. Okay, so everyone, is that clear to you? This was just some extra perks I wanted to give it to you so that you can find out. You can tell someone that yes, I know where is the source code present on my system for an array list. Similarly, you've got the source code for each and everything present onto your system in your JDK. Okay, moving on. There are several methods that are present with an array list. That is like Boolean add. You pass the objects, you can add an object using the add function. Void add, you pass the index and you pass the element that has to be added. Boolean add all, you can pass the entire collection, you can add the entire array list like that within this. Object.get, you pass the index and you can get the object of the array list. Set, you pass the index, you pass the object and it will set the value. Now object remove, int index, you just have to pass the index, you can remove the value or the object or the element. Iterator, now can you tell me what is the function of this iterator? Okay, iterator is used fetching technique. Pranav says exactly, for fetching technique. Sai says maybe loop. Yes, it acts as a loop so that you can retrieve the elements of an array list using iterator. List iterator, index of. Index of gives the index of a, Mayank says repeater. Now index of gives the index of a particular element. Last index of, you can use all those functions and try and see what are the results that you are receiving, right? Size gives the size of the array list. Clear clears the array list. Okay. So first we'll understand what is an array list, then we'll see how to trace the elements of array list. So I come here in an array list. Okay, I've already used an iterator right here. So I declared an array list of a string type. So array list string, array list, new array list, I pass the string. So this is the object of an array list that I created. After that, I use the add function to add the values. So dot add rows, dot add Lily, dot add Jasmine, and finally rows again. So what you can understand, duplicate values have been posted into the array list, as well as using the index 2. I'm removing a particular element. So if I pass 2, can you tell me which element will get removed? Everyone, please write down on the chat window, if I pass 2 as the index, which will be the element that will get removed? My Ashraf says Jasmine, Pranav, Sai and Yogesh says Jasmine, exactly correct. Mavis says Jasmine, exactly. Now I make an object of an iterator which is which is telling that a string type will be there in the array list. So you write iterator equal to array list dot iterator. Okay, you attach the iterator with the array list. Now using the iterator you can access the element by using a function that is hasNext. So in while iterator dot hasNext, till the time it is not false, okay, it will go inside string element iterator dot next to string. Okay, you can convert the value to string and save it in the element and finally print the element. So when I run this code, I receive the answer rose, lily, rose, because I actually deleted the value that was present on the second index. Now if I write system.out.println and I mention that is Arraylist, okay, Arraylist dot index of, and within that I pass rows. Now can you tell me what will be the result that I would receive on the console window? Come on guys. Ashraf says 0, Mehwish says 0, Nikhil says 0, Mehwish says 2, Ashraf says 0, and Yogesh says 0, Nikhil says 0, Pranav says 0, Sai says 0 and 3, Mayank says 0, and Prateek says 0. Okay, I run this code and I receive okay, since I'm printing in while loop, it is getting printed again and again. Okay, I run this code again. So rose, lily, rose, and I receive 0 in the end. Okay, because Sai says not an exception. No, it won't give you an exception. It will read the first element, it got the index, and it will get back. Okay, it won't go for the second element now. Right? Now, what I do, I come here, Arraylist dot get index. Now if I pass 2 itself, now tell me what will be the result that I would receive. Ashraf says rows. Do you think is correct? Yogesh says rows. What about the rest of you? All of you write down on the chat window, be quick. Okay, everyone says rows, so I'll press Ctrl F11, I receive rows once again. That's good. So similarly, you can use different functions that are available with an array list and you can try it. Okay, you can experiment with it. Getting back to the presentation now, how to trace the elements of array list. You can use for each loop, you can use iterator, you can use list iterator, you can use enumeration, and of course you can use for loop, simple for loop, while loop, do while loop. Kondarpa says how to remove an element if we don't know the index. If you want to remove the element, you can just pass the name of the element. There is a method available. Okay, Kondarpa. Is that fine? Okay. So we'll be seeing each one of them. First of all, the for each loop. Its action similar to for loop. It traces through all the elements of array or array list. Okay. No need to mention the size of the array list. Just you have to write for bracket string s and you pass the array list underscore name. Now what is the significance of this line? No need to mention size of an array list. Do you have to mention the size of the array list in some other loop? Is that so? Please answer my question. And I have forgotten to ask you a question that I said. Once you answer this question, I'll ask one more question to all of you. Everyone, please write down on the chat window. Do we have to mention size in case of array list in some loop? We need to keep track of index to access them, Nikhil says. Okay, the actual significance is that in for each loop you do not have to mention the size. But if you are using a simple for loop, you have to give the size of array list as well. So you'll be using the array list, that is array list underscore name dot size function so that you can get the size, and till that time you can iterate the loop. Okay, but in case of for each loop you do not have to do that. You just have to pass the structure like the array list right here, and since you know this array list is storing the string elements, so you create an object string. You create a variable of a string data type. Okay, so type of data stored in array list, and finally the name of array list. This is how you'll be using. Size says array list dot length. No, in array list length is not the property. In array list you have got a function that is size. Using size you can fetch the size of the array, the length of the array list. Okay. Now a question for all of you, a tough one. Let's see how many of you know the answer to this one. What is the default capacity of an array list? Is it 5, 1, 0? It depends on programmer, or 10. Size says size with parenthesis or simple size. I said it is a method, not the property of the array list. So it will come with parenthesis. All of you cast your answers. What is the default capacity of an array list? Ashraf says, I think 5. Okay. All of you be quick, cast your answers. Pratik says depends on programmer. Pranav says 5. What about the rest of you? Guys, be quick. Only 62% of the people have voted till now. What about Sarah and Vasil? Have you given your answers? Please write down on the chat window. Sai says option 3. What about the rest of you guys? Please answer this question. What is the default size of an array list? Amol, Lokesh, Mayank, Kondarpa, Pranav, Nikhil, Pratik, Sai, Sarah, Vasil, Yogesh. Everyone give your answers. I request you to do that. Give a wrong answer if you do not know the right answer then. Yogesh says it depends on programmer. 71% have voted after such a big request. Okay, I'll give you the answers now. Out of the people, those who have voted, 20% says that 5 is the answer, 70% says it depends on programmer, and 10% says the answer is 10. And the correct answer is 10. Exactly, Mayank. Vector array has capacity of 10. Exactly. 10 will be the answer. 10 is the default size. Because an array list actually uses arrays so that it can create dynamic array list. Okay. So just go through a research on that and you'll get your answer. Nikhil says, I got right, though it was a guess. Exactly, Nikhil, that is the right answer, 10. And Mayank, that was a good answer. Ahmed says, lost internet connection, thereby lost 20 precious minutes of my life. Okay, don't you worry, you'll be receiving the recording of the class, Ahmed, so you can go through that. As well as whatever that doubt you have, you can just post it on the community. All these people are present in the community, they'll help you out. Okay, I'm sure they'll answer your questions. Okay then, so you have seen a for each loop. Let's go to Eclipse and see how to use a for each loop. Okay, first I think that we should understand other loops as well. Now we come to Iterator. Okay, how to use it? Iterator is an interface that is used to traverse through the elements of collection. It traverses only in forward direction with the help of methods. So just remember, it can only go forward. If you want to move backward from one position, you cannot do that using an iterator. So it has got certain methods like boolean has next, element next, or it can remove the values which has a return type that is void. Okay, so you can use an iterator to traverse an array list which only moves in the forward direction. I hope you'll remember this. Moving on. Displaying items using iterator, you write iterator, you create an object arraylist.iterator. While arraylist.hasNext, it is returning a boolean value, because while will take a boolean value, so if it is true, if the next value is present, it will move inside and you'll get the next value and you'll save in the object. Okay, you can print the object after that. So I hope you're clear with an iterator. We'll be seeing the example of all these iterators and different loops for accessing the array list all together. Okay. So at any point of time, if you have any confusion or query, you can write down on the chat window, everyone. I come to list iterator. Now what is the difference between iterator and list iterator? The difference is a list iterator can go forward as well as in reverse direction. So list iterator is an interface that traverses through the elements of the collection. It traverses in both forward and reverse direction. The methods are has next, next, remove, same as the iterator, but it has got boolean has previous and element previous. Okay, so these are the methods that are available with a list iterator method, right? So I hope you are clear with it. In iterator you have got top 3 methods, but in list iterator you have got 2 extra methods for the previous element, so that you can go in the reverse direction as well. Moving on, displaying items using list iterator, you come here, list iterator equal to Arraylist.list iterator. You open up the while loop, within that you pass has next. If it has got next, it will go inside, it will fetch the next value. Even you can check for the previous value as well. Okay, because in list iterator you can go in the opposite direction as well. Now this one is the enumeration one, using which you can access the list, that is Arraylist. So enumeration is an interface whose action is similar to iterator, but the difference is that it has no methods for deleting an element of Arraylist. It has more elements, that is quite similar to has next method, and it has got next element that will give you the element itself. Okay, so in that it was next in case of iterator, but iterator has got one more method, that was remove, but this enumeration does not have that method. So all of you, are you clear till now with all the structures that we can use, all the methods that we can use to traverse an array list? Now enumeration example is right here, that is collections.enumeration. You pass the array list within that. While enumeration has more elements, you'll check it, you'll just get the element and you can use the element in your program. You can print it out as well. So all of you, let me know, are you clear with it? Everyone, please write on the chat window. I request you to do it. Ashraf says yes, it's clear. What about the rest of you? Mayank says yes. Sai says yes. Ahmed says, could you please repeat once? Ahmed, if I repeat it on the Eclipse itself, would it be fine with you? Okay, that's good. So let's go to examples now. Now this is the insertion for an array list. Let's see it afterwards. You have already seen the insertion, so this slide should be starting, right? Okay. First of all, I'll show you the simple array list. Okay, so you've got the array list. This is how the name of your array list is list itself. You add the text, that is element 2 and 3, into the array list using the add function. Now first of all, you're using the normal for loop, that is the simple for loop. You write for, you pass list.size. Okay, so it will run till here and it will print the elements of list. That is the array list. I'll just comment the rest of the part. And I'll run this code. When I run this code, I'll receive text 1, 2 and 3. This is the normal loop. I hope you're quite clear with it. Control 7. Now I come to the second loop. Right here, that is the for each loop. For a for each loop, you do not have to pass the size of the array list. You just pass the list right here, that is the array list, and you mention which kind of value does the array list contain. So you write string, and those values will be saved in tab one by one, and you'll keep on printing them. When I run this code, I receive again the same result, that is text 1, 2 and 3 for each loop. Okay. So all of you, are you clear with this? That is the for each loop. Write down on the chat window. You just have to write Y for yes and N for no. Maybe says, is array list string and list string same? No, they are not. Okay. Actually, array list is the part of list, right? So after that you are mentioning array list. Okay. Kundupa says yes. Even if I mention, if I change it like this, that is array list, it will be fine. Okay. So you were using list because array list is a part of list itself. I hope it clears your doubt, Mehvish. Okay. So let's move on to the next one. Mehvish says yes. Now I come to the third part. All of you guys keep writing, try to be interactive. Even I feel it good. So system.println while loop, the third one, you initialize a variable, you mention the size and greater than j. When I run this loop, I receive the same result, that is text 1, 2 and 3. So quite simple to use to get the elements of the array list printed on the console window. And finally, now I'll show you the iterator. We have already seen the iterator as well. Iterator, you set an iterator, that is string iterator, you set it to the list itself, that is the array list, and finally you use the has next and you print the next value till the time it has got a next value. So I run this code again and I receive the same output. Okay, so these are the ways you can use to access the elements of an array list. Now let's see the other ones. Now here are a few methods that has been demonstrated. Now there was a question from Ahmed, or I guess Kondarpa, that is, if we do not know the index of the item, then how can we remove it? You can pass the string itself. The item itself, it will directly remove from the array list. Okay. You can use the get item to get the element at a particular index. You can pass the item itself. Like this, you can use different methods. Now let's come to enumeration and different methods that are available for you to retrieve the elements from a collection. So first of all, I come to enumeration main. So I'll be using enumeration right here, array list. Okay, the error goes off now. Now array list string, I created an array list, I added rose, jasmine and tulip. Within that, after that I created an enumeration type. I use collections.enumeration and I pass the array list within that. That is flowers. Okay. Now I run the while loop enumeration that has more elements. Okay. This is the method that is available with enumeration, and you just save the object. You save the value in an object right here. Dot next element. Okay. Because the value that is written right here is of object type. You want it string, so write string object. It will also save it right here. Run this code. Rose, jasmine, tulip are received on the console window. Since I'm only using the print command, if I use the println, I save the file, I run this code again, I use rose, jasmine, tulip. So all of you are clear with enumeration. Then I'll move on to the next one. Everyone please write down on the chat window. It is quite simple concept to understand. Ashraf says yes, Sai says yes, Nikhil says yes. What about the rest of you? Kondupa says yes, Prateek says yes. Mayank says today no 2-minute break. Let me just finish with all these things and then I'll take a 2-minute break. Okay? And I'll give it to you as well. Mayank. So I hope you are clear with enumeration. Still there are many people in the class, but I'm not receiving a lot of yeses from you guys. Neither the no's. Okay. So I would request everyone to be interactive. Now, creating an array list this time we'll be using, okay, this is a simple for each loop that we have seen already. I just simply run this code again and I receive the same output. If I change it to ln, it will go to the next line, running the code, and right here. I go to the third one, that is the iterator one, how to use an iterator. We've already seen this iterator as well. So I'll be sending all those examples to you so you can use it. You can see different examples that has been implemented. In this code, rose, jasmine, tulip again. Finally, I come to the list iterator. This is the new one. All of you, please concentrate right here. So I'll just add the unimplemented. Okay, so array list, that is flowers, same inputs. Now I'm using a list iterator, that is string list iterator flowers dot list iterator. Till the time it has got has next, you'll read the object. Okay. So I'll just like to show you one more thing. That is the list iterator dot has previous. Okay, if it has got a previous value, what it will do, it will print that value system.out.println, and within this I use the list iterator dot not next, previous. Okay, and I save the file now. Now tell me what will be the result that I would receive. All of you, please write down on the chat window. Everyone, a trick question for all of you. I'll also tell you the answer. I'll also figure it out. Okay, wherever says rose, jasmine, tulip, rose, jasmine, tulip, jasmine, rose. Okay. Mayank says reversed output. No, Mayank, give me the exact answer. Don't give me reversed output or it is not the reversed one. Kundapa says rose, jasmine. All of you, please write down on the chat window. It is just for your test. Just to test your skills. Okay, you can see whether you have learned something or not. Sai says rose, jasmine. Give me the entire output. Sai, Mayank, tulip, jasmine, rose. Okay, Ahmed says, Pratik says jasmine, rose. Ahmed says tulip, jasmine, rose. Mayank says maybe jasmine, rose. No guys, you're not getting it right. I'll just run the code for all of you. Okay, it is giving me a lot of roses right here. Let's see what is happening. Okay, has next. It will always has a previous value. That is why it is happening. Okay. So instead of checking it, okay. So let's change the code a bit. So I'll do, everybody's wrong here. Great test, Ahmed says. Okay. So what I'll do, okay, if I'll just define a value, okay, integer I equals to 0, I pass it in here. I'm also incrementing the value of I. So introduce about debugging in Eclipse also, Pratik says. Okay, so I come here, if the value of I is equals to, first time it gets 1, the second time it comes, it will be 2, right? If it is 2, or if it is I equals to 3, 0, 1 and 3, in those time it will just print the previous value as well. Now I hope I'll receive a result this time, and I receive rose, jasmine, 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 and then again jasmine, and then I come to tulip. Okay. So what is happening? Okay, just we'll try to figure it out and I'll send you the code, right? And I want the result. That is, all of you note down the problem. I need the result. First of all, I'm entering 3 entries, that is rose, jasmine, and tulip, right? Now I want to use an array list. I'll be using the functions itself, and I want to print rose, jasmine, then again rose, then tulip, and then jasmine. Okay, so rose, jasmine, rose, tulip, jasmine. So everyone, try to solve this question and post it on the community itself. Even I'll do it for you if it is possible. If it is not possible, just write down on the community that it won't be attained, and this is the result that could be attained. Ahmed says repeat. So the question is, Ahmed, the assignment would be, you have to make an array list. In that you have to enter 3 elements, rose, jasmine, and tulip. First rose will go, then jasmine will go, and then tulip will go. After that you have to receive an output. You have to make a program that will give you an output that would be rose first, then jasmine, then rose, then tulip, and then again jasmine. Okay, so all of you, are you clear with it? Are you clear with the problem? Please write down on the chat window, rose, jasmine, rose, tulip, jasmine. Okay, Kondappa says yes, clear. If I just check for 2. Okay. I equals to 3 as well. Let's run it once again. Okay, rose, jasmine, again jasmine, jasmine, tulip. If I just simply remove this and I run this code, okay, it will absolutely go into the infinite loop. Okay, then we'll be trying it on our own. Okay, everyone. So let's get back to the presentation once again. And these were the insertion, that is, you can use the add function to insert a value into the array list. You can use the remove function to remove a value either through the index or using the element itself, right? Finally, how to display it, you can use an iterator simply, you can use a for loop or any kind of loop. You have got numerous methods for doing this particular job. I hope everyone is clear with that. Moving on, we come to hash maps now. Okay, how to use a hash map in Java. So the hash map is a class which is used to perform operations such as inserting, deleting, and locating elements in a map. You actually create a map in which you pass 2 kinds of values. One will be the key and the other will be value. Okay, using key and value pairs, you'll be putting those values in the hash map, and whenever you have to retrieve a value, you'll be using the key so that you can use the value, right? So the map is an interface map keys to the elements. Maps are unsorted and unordered. Map allows one null key and multiple null values. Okay, as I told you that the values are stored in a format that is key and value. Now the key could be one key could be null in the entire hash map, and there could be multiple values that could be null in the entire hash maps. Okay, so remember this, key act as indices and can be any objects as well. Okay, so this was the overview of an hash map. Moving on, there are several methods available with hash maps as well. So you have got put method, object key and value, simple method, enumeration keys, it will fetch the keys, enumeration element, fetch the elements, object get, you pass the key and you'll get the object with that key, the value that is associated with that particular key. Contains a key. If you want to check whether this key is present in this hash map or not, you'll be using the contains key. Moving on, contains value, you'll have to pass the key, and if you want to check, you'll be using this method. Object remove, you pass the key and you can remove the object, if you want to size, you'll be using the size method, and if you want to convert it into string, you'll be using toString. Okay, so these are several methods that are present that you can use along with a hash map. The diagram right here, this is the way the hash map gets created. These are the elements right here, right? You can place the key and there could be a corresponding element right like this. That is Ravi, Rajiv, Megha, Sunny. These values can also be empty. These could be null. Multiple values could be null in the hash map. Okay, so all of you, are you clear till now? I hope you are, because no one is actually replying today. Everyone is feeling sleepy. I don't know why. Now let's see how to use it. Ashraf says yes. Same as associative array, Nikhil says. Mayank says yes. Now create a hash map. You use the hash map keyword, hash map equals to new hash map. Putting elements, hashmap.put, you pass the key and you pass the value. Pass the key, you pass the value like this. You are putting the values, inserting the values into the hash map. Now how to display the values? You get an iterator, iterator equals to hashmap entry set dot iterator. This is the difference than Arraylist, because the values are actually present in a set, right? So for that you will be using entry set dot iterator. Okay, you get the entry set and then you run the iterator. So you'll get all the sets into the iterator. After that, while iterator has got next, you write map.entry entry. You get an entry, map.entry, iterator.next. That entire set will come here. Now using the entry you can get the key separately, and using the entry you can get the value separately, and you can use it in your program. So all of you, let me know, do you have any doubts right here? Please write down on the chat window. All of you? Ashraf says no. What about the rest of you guys? I'll just call out your names. Ahmed, Amol, Lokesh, Mayank, Mavish, Nikhil, Pratik, Rams, Sara, Vasil, Yogesh. Pratik says, what is a map? Map in which you can store values using a key. You use a key, you store values. There is a corresponding value available with that particular key. Okay. Ahmed says clear. Ashraf says no sir. Ashraf, it is not clear to you? Please write down on the chat window. I'll explain it once again. Ashraf says it's clear. Okay then. So before moving to hash table, Pratik says, what here iterator do sir? Okay, let's come to Eclipse and we'll understand what does the iterator do. First answer my question, what did the iterator do in case of Arraylist? Can you tell me, Pratik? Show values, Pratik says. Actually, it help you to traverse the elements of the array list. Similarly, when you have to traverse the elements of the hash map, you'll be using an iterator. It will get the entire elements, that is the set elements, into the iterator, and then you can use the function that is has next and next, and then you can access the values that are present in those sets. Is that clear, Pratik? Please write down on the chat window if yes. Okay, Pratik says okay. Now I'll come to Hashmap. Okay, now we have got a hash map that is taking the key as a string value, and the value, that is the data that is available, that is associated with the key, is of double type. Okay, so string and double. Hash map equal to new hash map, and you put the parenthesis and a semicolon. After that, hashmap.put is a method using which you can put the key value pairs into the hash map. So you pass Ankita and the corresponding value is 9634.58. Similarly, you put the second value Vishal and 1283.48. Similarly, the third one and the fourth one. Finally, in order to traverse the hash map, what you are using an iterator. So what you write, iterator Now can you tell me what this question mark is representing? What value should come instead of this question mark? Please write down on the chat window, everyone. Ashraf says any class. Okay. I guess Ashraf is trying to tell that it is representing it could be any class. Now, can you tell me what should be the exact value that it should come here in the iterator? Anyone? Okay, then I'll give you the answer. The answer would be the string and double. Okay, because the iterator has been created like that. Okay, I'll just incorrect number of arguments for the type iterator E. It can be parameterized with argument string and double. Okay, that's a mistake. So if I just changed it to string, let's see what happens. Okay, that was the mistake because it is a kind of entry, right? And that entry will have string and double values. So iterator will get objects of entry and it will store those objects. Now after that, what you'll be doing, you'll be using the hash next method. You'll find out if there is a next value present. If it is true, it goes inside, you get the entry from the hash map using the next method, and then you use a method that is getKey. Entry.getKey, you display the key, you get the entry.getValue, you display the value. So if I run this code, on the chat window you receive Vishal, Ankita, Gurinder. Okay. So all of you, are you clear with it? How to use a hash map, the declaration, the putting values inside that, and then using an iterator so that you can traverse the hash map. Please write down on the chat window, everyone. Amol says no, sir. What is the problem that you are facing, Amol? Just write down on the chat window. And what about the rest of you? So if you can please write down on the chat. Why the fourth entry not printed? Okay, I'll run the code once again. Okay, we have got Krishna, Vishal, Ankit, and Gurinder. Okay, Ram says okay. And if I use collections dot sort list Iterator, let me just check whether I can pass the hash map within this or not. No. Sorted order is this, Pratik says. No, actually the sorted order is not like this. Okay, I'll just tell you, I'll just find it out why it is showing like this. Okay, it should come as it is entered right here, that is Ankita, then this, Vishal, then this, Gurinder and Krishna, but it is giving a result in an unordered way. The rest of, like, Vishal comes, first K comes, then V, then A, and then Gurinder. Hash maps are unordered. Exactly correct, Nikhil. That is why. Absolutely. Thanks for reminding me again. They are, because they are unordered. That is why we are receiving these kind of results. So all of you, now you are clear. Amol, is it clear to you? Nikhil says, okay. Pratik says order is this. Mohsin says, hello sir, I am late because of college practicals. Never mind, Mohsin. Mayank says, yes, clear. What about the rest of you? All of you, please write down on the chat window, are you clear with hash map? Mahavish says yes, Yogesh says yes. Okay then. So we got the answer why they are unordered, why we are receiving a result like that, because these hash maps are unordered. Okay. Now we move on to learn hash tables. Now hash table is a class which is used to perform operations such as inserting, deleting, similar to a hash map. Similar to Hashmap, it also has a key and a value, but there is a difference, that is, it does not allow null keys and null values. Okay, neither a key could be null, neither a value could be null in case of hash table. The only difference between them is hash table is synchronized, whereas Hashmap is not by default. Okay, now how to use a hash map? You have got these methods with Hashmap as well, that is put, keys, elements, get, contains key, contain value, remove, size, and toString. Okay. Okay, I'll give you an answer, Prateek. Just give me a minute. I'll come to that part also. Okay. How to insert the values into the hash table now? So you write the hash table equal to new hash table. You just use the put and you pass the key and value pairs, that is Ankita, Vishal, Gurinder, Krishna, and you pass the values right here. Okay, as you did in the hash map. Now to display the values, I'm using enumeration this time. Anything could be used. Iterator could also have been used in this case. Okay, so I use enumeration equal to hash table dot keys. You pass the keys to the enumeration. Using the keys, you will be fetching the items. So enumeration dot has more elements, string key enumeration dot next element to string, and string value is hash table dot get. You pass the key in that and you convert it into string value. And finally you print the value. So all the elements that are present in the hash table will be printed like this. Prateek says difference between iterator and enumeration. As I said, the only difference between iterator and enumeration is that there is no remove method present in enumeration. You cannot remove a method using an enumeration. Okay. So are you clear with this? Please write down on the chat window if you are clear. Mayank says yep, clear. Prateek says yes. Prateek says okay. What about the rest of you? Yogesh says okay. Ram says clear. Okay then. Let's get to Eclipse now. And I'll close this part and I come to the hash table. Okay, similarly I created a hash table string double. Hash table equal to new hash table string double. I put the values like key and value right here, key and value. Now I use the enumeration. Okay, now I'm only taking string value because I'm only saving the keys. Okay, I'm only saving the keys into the enumeration right here. So these were the string values, the keys were strings, hence I'm passing strings right here. Then I write while enumeration dot has more elements. Till the time it has got more elements, this loop will keep on running. You go inside, you write strings key, you get the key, that is enumeration dot next element dot to string, and using the key I pass that key into the hash table and I get the element. I convert it into string using the toString method, and finally I print the string in the console window. So I run this code, okay, and I receive the result Vishal, Krishna, Gurinder, Ankita. Okay, so this is the way you'll be using a hash table. Please write down on the chat window, are you clear with it? Can hash map Java? Mohsin, I didn't get your question. Ashraf says clear. Ram says okay. What about the rest of you? And Mohsin, if you can just explain your question once again. Yes, Prateek, it is also an unordered list. Can display multiple values. I didn't get your point. Displaying multiple values means it will always be present in key value format. Okay, it will always be present in key value format. So You always have to use it like this. Using the key, you can fetch the value in the hash maps and hash table. So all of you, if you have any doubts, you can ask me, everyone. Okay. Now I've got a question from Prateek. Any method for sorting this? Yes, there is a method. As I was using, that is collection.sort. You can use the same method. Within that, you have to pass the hash map or the array list. Okay, you have to convert it into array list. That is, you pass the map entries and then you pass the type into that. And then within that you pass the comparator. Okay, you'll be using that. I'll be sending a post on the community itself on sorting a hash map or a hash table. Okay, is that fine with you, Prateek? You can go through that time. Everyone can see it. Prateek says okay. So let's get back to the presentation once again. I'll just note it down so that I don't forget it to post. So all of you, can you all list me down the topics that you learned today? Everyone. And if you want to talk about anything, any doubt that you have in your mind, you can just put it up on the chat window itself. Everyone. So let me know, just pen down, just list down the topics that we went through in today's class, and if you've got any doubts, you can write down on the chat window itself. No doubts, and nobody knows the topics that you went through in today's class? I just know about hash maps as I was late. Mohsin says, Amol says use. Okay. You can actually make it whenever you have to save two things, right? Like two particular things, you make a two-dimensional array when you have to use two things simultaneously, right? So in those cases, what you will be doing, you can make a hash map, right? So key and value will be actually associated, so you can simultaneously use the key to find the value as well. Are you getting my point, Amol? Okay, Mayank has listed few of the topics. Ahmed have given me topics. Yogesh, everyone. Okay, that's very good. At least, guys, you are speaking at the end of the class. Okay, so since we have got some time, let's try something out. Okay, not necessarily we'll receive a result, but absolutely we'll try something. Okay, Amul says example. Let's say I have to print the corresponding names, like I want to print the roll number and the name of the student, right? Simultaneously, I have to use it. So what I can do, I can make a hash table or a hash map and can print the names simultaneously, 1, 2, 3, like that. Okay, 1 and then comes Vineet, 1 then comes Amol, sorry, 2 comes Amol, 3 comes Mayank, 4th comes Mohsin, 5th comes Prateek. Okay, this way, in those cases, you can use hash table. Is that fine, Amol? Okay, so I've got keys into my enumeration. What I'll do, I'll create an array list. So write array list, write string, equals, I'll name it as list, I'll name it as key itself, okay, equals to new array list and semicolon, right? So after that, key dot add, because I'm adding a value to the array list, I open the parenthesis, and I close the corresponding parenthesis right here. So I've passed all these values, all those keys into the array list. Now this array list has got all those values. Instead of using this statement right here, I'll just cut this one, Control X, and I'll move the statement out right here. Okay, now I have all my values present within the key array list. I'll call collections dot comparator is one way. I'm showing you one other way using which you can do it. I just got an idea, so let's try it. That is what I'm trying. So I pass my array list into that. So this should sort the list. Okay, that is the array list. It will sort the key. Okay, I have to move this out right here. So this would sort the keys in ascending order, and finally what I'll do, I'll run a for each loop. For each string I pass key, and within that I'll move this statement. Control V, and then I'll move this within that, alt key plus value. Now it will be equal to string. We pass string over here, that is right. Okay, and I'll print the string itself, key. And here also it will print string. Okay, let's save the file now. Nikhil says bye, thanks for today's lecture. Nikhil, we are just a while now. As you can see, A, G, K and Vishal, so all of them has been sorted now, right? So this could be one way using which you can sort it. So all of you, are you clear with this? So what I did, I saved the key, that is Ankita. On the basis of key, I am sorting each and everything. So I saved each and everything in the array list, and finally what I did, I ran a collection.sort and I passed the key. So it sorted the key in that is present in the array list. After that, I run a for each loop. In that, I pass the array list, and using the key, I am fetching the values. I am displaying the corresponding key and value on the console window as it is right now. So Pratik, is your question answered? And rest of you, let me know, are you clear with this, what I have done right now? The experiment I did right now. Pratik says yes, clear. What about the rest of you? Are you clear with it? Ahmed says yes, Amol says yes, Mayank says yes, Mavis says yes, Mohsin says yes, Arun says sir, please repeat it once. Yogesh says yes. Okay, Arun, what I did, at the last time what we were doing, we were using the enumeration and printing the entire elements there and then. Now when we were doing that, we were not receiving a sorted result, okay, since it was not. After that, what was done, I used a collections.sort and I passed the entire array list into that. Okay, so when I passed it, this sort method will sort the elements of the array list. After that, since all the keys are sorted now, so we have sorted on the basis of the array list. Now we run the for each loop. In for each loop, I pass, since I know that the values that are present in key are string values, so I make an object of string, that is string itself. I pass the array list. I come here in the for each loop. Inside that, I use the hash table dot get. I pass the key, that is string, okay, and I convert it into two strings. So the value will get converted into two string and it will be saved in value. So it will print the key right here, that is string, and it will print the corresponding value. So are you clear with it? Please write down on the, Arun says yes, that's good. Okay, Pratik says our idea of debugging, please give me a small idea. Now for debugging, you can use the debugging tool right here, okay, that is available, okay. So you can run it, and this is the shortcut available, and I'll be showing you a demonstration, a small one, in the next class, okay. I have a question. Well, can we start the webinar after 5 p.m. or if possible at 6, because due to working days we have our business anniversary. RUMS actually this time has already been decided for this batch, so I'm afraid that it won't be able to change. Okay, it will be from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. only, I guess. Okay, if you have still, if you want it to be done, just send a request, send an email on support email ID, that is support@edureka.in, and if it is possible, it will be done and all of you will be notified. Okay, but for the next class, it will be from 4 p.m. itself. Okay, Arun says, I came late, so why hash table is used? Now Arun, in the cases where you need the values in pairs, that is, you want to display for the roll numbers of a class with the corresponding names of the students, okay. So in those cases you can use a hash table. So 1 will come, then the name, 2 will come. So you can save the roll number as key and you can save the name as the values with that key, okay. So similarly you can find many examples where you can use hash tables. Ram says, well, the record of this session can be found from where? The recorded sessions are sent on your email IDs. Okay, on each and everyone's email ID we send the recorded session along with the code that was taken in the class. Okay, if you cannot find it in your inbox, so the problem is you would not have added edureka.in in your contact list. If you would have done so, sorry, not edureka.in, the ID, that is support@edureka.in. You have to add that email ID, then all those emails that are coming from this email ID will land in your inbox. Okay, or else if you are not finding it, you can go to your spam folders and check for it. You'll find it there. Is that clear, Rams? If yes, please write down on the chat window. Says okay, and the recorded session can be uploaded on to other site except YouTube, because YouTube is blocked in many sites. Sorry for so much questions. That's fine, but the process has already been set in this company. That is, we'll be uploading the videos on YouTube and we'll be sharing the links of those YouTube videos. Okay, so I won't be able to help you with that, Rams. I hope it answers your question. Arun, Hashmap is also used in a similar fashion. Now, in sometimes what happens, you need to pass null values. Okay, you in different keys you have to pass different null values. In those cases, you'll be using Hashmap, because Hashmap can accept one null key value and multiple null values, corresponding null values. Okay, so I hope it answers your question, Arun. Now please write down on the chat window if yes. Okay then guys. Okay, Pratik says break time. Actually it is going time. Okay Pratik, I have to cover all the topics. Arun says yes. Arun, receive the record. You'll be receiving the recording by today itself, by midnight. So you just go through the recordings, and wherever you face some doubt, just post that doubt on the community itself, and these people will be there to help you out. Even I'll be there. Okay, so I'll be answering all those questions that are up on the community. Okay. So for today, I guess this will be all, and I hope the topics that were taken in today's class were clear to all of you. Please write down on the chat window for the final time. Send me some smileys if yes. Amol says yes, Mavis says yes, and a smiley. Mohsin sends me a smiley. What about the rest of you? Yogesh says yes, Amol says yes, Ram says okay, thanks a lot, you're welcome. Okay, then that's good. What about you, Mayank, and others? Vasil? Okay then. So for today I'll take a leave. Bye bye, take care, thank you all for being here again, and the next class will be on Arun says important session. Exactly, today's session was a bit important. Even the next session will be an important one. Okay, so your next class is on Thursday 4 p.m. itself, so don't forget to register yourself a day prior to it. Okay, the Facebook community has got the link from previous as well. I've created an event. Just go there, check the event and register for the class one day prior to it, because we actually approve you and it takes time, right? So I don't want you to miss the class. If you are late, you won't be able to attend the class, because unless we approve it, you won't be receiving any registration, receiving any confirmation link to join the class. Mohsin, for this, just send an email on support@edureka.in and you'll receive a reply soon. Okay? And most probably, I think yes, you'll be receiving it. Mohsin sent me a smiley and says okay. So bye bye all. Thank you all for being here today. Don't forget to fill in the survey that will come up right after this class. Give your comments and suggestions so that I can improve myself and provide you a better class. And rest, I would request you to actively participate in the community that is available on Facebook. There I'll be posting questions like I do every time, and I'll be answering certain questions. Okay, even you can post your questions which other people will be answering, right? So for now, bye bye, take care, thank you for being here today, and have a very nice day ahead. Thank you.
The organizer has ended the session, and this call will be disconnected. Goodbye.